Hello, I hope that you are doing well. And the topic that I chose for this activity, it's motivation. So let's start. First of all, we are going to see these topics. In the first one, I'm going to show you the research that I read, which were three. Then I'm going to talk about what do the papers have in common. Number three, it's going to be the motivation importance in our field. Then I'm going to talk about tips and strategies. And lastly, the conclusion. So let's start. First, I'm going to show you, well, the first paper that I checked. Oh, sorry, which is called Making Learning Fun, Interactive Activities to Build Student Motivation and Engagement in Your Classroom. Well, this paper starts with this question: what is motivation? And the answer that it gives it's that motivation is a force or influence that causes someone to do something. It also says that if a student has higher motivation, it's going to have higher engagement into the class. But if a student has lower motivation, it's going to have lower engagement in the class as well. And according to the paper, there are two types of motivation. The first one that is intrinsic. This is the type of motivation that we have to do something because it's fun, because we like to do it. And we have the second one, which is extrinsic. This one, we do something because we want something in exchange. For example, a prize. Here we have some tips that are given in the paper, which is, well, to help motivate our students. And it's some of them are to create a healthy learning environment for the students to feel safe and secure. The second one is to figure out what your students are into. This can be about music, artists, movies, cartoons, etc. And then take those interests and put them into your lessons, into your classes, so students feel more attracted, more motivated to work. And number four is to engage them in the learning process. This one, it can be as easy as give them two options. Like, we are seeing this topic. We can do this activity or this one. Which one do you prefer? And in that way, you are going to engage them into choosing what is going to happen in the class. Well, the paper give give us well some activities that we can do, which are teaching with technology. How can we do that with apps from the internet? Some of the activities that are given, the first one is app competition, in which you can use a app, let's say Flipgrid, for instance. You can make teams. Each group will have to do a presentation of certain topic. Then the class is going to see the videos and it's going to choose which one is the best. And the second one that I really liked, it's the video interview, in which you are going to be in the class with your students and then you are going to do like some type of Zoom conference, let's say, with another person, but this person is a native speaker of English. This is a really good and easy way to expose our students with a native speaker. And we also have some games given by the first paper. These games can be done in the classroom. Some of them are Jeopardy, Jenga, Scrabble, and Bingo. And this one, let's say Jenga. If a student loses and all the small pieces fell, the student will have to answer a question related to a topic that is being seen in class. Okay, how can we promote active learning in our classes? We can let our students discover things, investigate, interpret by their own ways, and use hand-on activities. For example, make students do a cooking demo. They can do a video of them cooking, let's say, spaghetti. Maybe something easier, cereal. It can be sandwiches. Okay, another thing, it can be that they have practice of the English language that is meaningful for them. It is something that they are going to use, surely. Another example to promote active learning is to give the class outside of the classroom. Yeah, show students the culture in action and intrinsic rewards. For example, let's say that we are going to do a class outside of the classroom. And let's say that we can take our students to the USA. Let's imagine we are going to take them there. So in there, they are going to have practice meaningfully because they are going to be using English to communicate. They are also out of the classroom. They have culture in action. And what can be the intrinsic reward? They are going to take pictures from the place they are in. They can come back to the school and they can do a small presentation for other people to show them what they have learned there. Okay, and that one was paper number 1, the first one. So let's start with paper number 2, which is called Fostering Students' Motivation, Goal Setting, and Students' Interest Questionnaires. Well, as you can see for the title, this one is a questionnaire. It is a questionnaire to see, well, the motivations of the students. Why do they want to learn English? And what do they think that they are going to achieve in the English course? And well, the questions are related to those 4 points. The first one is, why are they learning English, as I mentioned, and how is it going to relate to their goals and interests outside of the classroom? What do they hope they will accomplish in the English course? What topics and learning approaches they prefer? And what can the teacher do to support them and motivate them? This questionnaire can be used for an intermediate level of English or above. And the goals for this questionnaire is to have an instructional design. So you can take the information from the questionnaires and use that information, the information that is going to help you, put them inside of the design of the English course. It's going to help for the learner's autonomy as well. It's going to have a positive classroom community, behavior, and students' awareness. If you know what is going to motivate your students, you can use them as a way to keep the behavior or the classroom management controlled. It's like, if you want to have this one in the classroom because you like it, you have to behave this way. It can be a strategy for the classroom behavior. And it can also help the students' awareness in knowing what they want to learn and why. So in this questionnaire, we have, well, I separated the steps into 3 main steps. In the first one, the teacher is going to go with the class. It's going to write in the whiteboard just the word motivation, and that's it. And then he or she is going to ask the students, what do you think is motivation? It's going to start a brainstorm. Then the question is going to change. It's going to be, what motivates you to learn English? This can start the critical thinking of the students. Then the teacher is going to take the questionnaires, it's going to give them to the students, and it's going to tell students, okay, go to this part, which is the goals and motivations section. In this part, students are going to write their goals and motivations into the course, into what do they want to accomplish and what is going to motivate them. And in this part, this teacher has to tell students that teacher is going to take the questionnaire, but it's going to be given back to the students at the middle of the course and nearly the end of the course, so students can see their answers and make comparisons between the beginning of the course, the middle, and the end. The second part of this questionnaire is students are going to write learning English, is going to help me because why? This question is going to be related to short-term goals, something that is going to happen in days. Students are going to write their interests, their learning preferences, and then the teacher is going to collect the questionnaires and it's going to create a table and tabulate all the responses. The final step is when you are no longer at the beginning of the course, you are in the middle. The teacher is going to take the questionnaires and is going to give them back to the students so they can compare their answers from the beginning now that they are in the middle of the course. Then the teacher is going to take them back and it's going to give them again to the students at the end or towards the end of the course. So students can think, has anything changed between the times? Okay, and that one was paper number 2. And finally, the paper number 3, it's called drama-based activities to improve student confidence and motivation. I found this really interesting because it's something that I have never thought about. Is take drama and put them into the classroom, but related to the motivation. Never thought about it, Will. Okay, well, in this paper, we have 4 main parts. The first one is performing fluency. This part, it's like the beginning. Is based on the action theory that the actors use to prepare themselves. It's going to be a relation between the linguistic theory and the action theory involving. And in this part, students are going to make choices about what do they know in English and how are they going to apply them or use it. Then the second part is the theater games and warm-up. This is going to be a task-based learning and active language use because the students are going to be speaking a lot and they are going to be assigned certain tasks which they will have to accomplish. And this one is going to really help students lower the affective filter. What is the affective filter? Fear, can be lack of confidence, and motivation, which is the important part, motivation. The third part, it's improvisation. In this part, it's going to be about role plays and it's going to be spontaneous. So you are not going to help the students. They will have to take out the script from their imagination. And the practice is going to be with authentic situations. So it can be something related to learning that they will or they can use in real life. And the last part is the blank scenes. In this one, the students will use the paralinguistic features of language, which can be, for example, the intonation of the words. And students will make their own choices about their characters. There's not going to be a already written character. They are going to choose. Okay, so we have a little more information about each one of the 4 parts. The first one was performing fluency. This one should have a pedagogical approach. This means not only take the activity and use it just like that. No, it has to have a why, a purpose. Playing a role, it should always be central. It's going to have as well a deeper look at the ways we are going to use the language, and it should have cultural conversations for the students. The theater games, this one should have class participation. It should be a type of theater that can be a solving of certain problem. It can also help to break the ice between the students, and it has to be fun for the students as well. And here we have an example of an activity. The activity is to stand in circle with the class. Each student is going to give the name, and it's going to be a physical gesture. And everyone should repeat the gesture together. For example, my name is Alex, I like to run, so, and I run. And everyone should repeat, and so on. Now we have the improvisation. In this one, it's like give and take. You are going to say something, sorry, a classmate is going to give you something, and then you are going to answer yes, and you are going to add something else for your next classmate. You don't have to be funny necessarily, and the participation of the audience is going to be make observations about the improvisation. Here we have some example. One example, sorry. As I told you, you have to use the yes to accept the context that your classmate already gave to you, and you are going to add something else. It can be a story of one sentence, or it can be a story of one word. The blank scenes. In this one, the teachers should write their own blank scenes in which you can include vocabulary, pronunciation, grammatical features, as long as it is connected to the topics that you are seeing in class. And you will, as I mentioned before, you should focus on particular paralinguistic features for emphasis, for give them more time to practice those features to the students. And here we have an example of an activity. And this one, well, in this part, on the right side of the slide, you can see that we have a conversation between one person and another. And here we have some questions for the students, so they will have to well, take an observation and pay attention to the dialogue, and well, they will have to answer according to their comprehension. Okay, so those were the 3 papers that I checked for this activity. And well, what do those 3 papers have in common? Of course, motivation, which is the important part. The 3 papers were made for helping teachers to motivate their students into, well, the English course. The 3 papers had questions at the beginning to activate the critical thinking. And the 3 of them motivate to use the active language use. It also gave the teachers tools to engage the students or ways to help us to engage with the students and know their interests. They gave us interactive activities, or they gave us certain activities in a way that we can adapt them into our class. And well, the task-based learning is also present in the 3 papers. What is the importance of motivation in our field? I think that this one is really self-explanatory, but well, the students are going to have, of course, a better overall class performance, as I mentioned in the beginning, higher motivation, higher performance. They will have positive emotions as well, positive relationships with their classmates, with the teacher, with the coordinators, with the principals, and they will also have a better self-confidence. Some tips and strategies that I really liked from the papers were to be consistent. Always try to motivate your students no matter what. A teacher should always know if a student needs motivation. I mean, we need them as teachers, Of course, students are going to be needing them. The next one is to organize according to your time. Let's say you want to take the activity from the using drama for motivation. You cannot take a 40 minutes activity if you only give 1 hour of class. It's not going to be beneficial for you. The third one is to use informal evaluation. In this part, using this, students are not going to be to feel how they are not going to feel like insecure, scared because of a grade. It's not going to be like, you missed this one, so I'm going to give you a 7. No, it's going to be more informal, so they will feel safer. And the last one, but I think that is the most important, is to help students believe in themselves. And well, the conclusion that I have is that, as I mentioned, motivation is really, really important for us as teachers and for our students. If a student has high or low motivation, that one is going to change the performance, if it's going to go up or down. And of course, we can see if a student needs motivation, we just have to pay attention to them. And well, if we need motivation to go and be in front of the class all days, students will need motivation as well. We have to keep looking for tools, approaches, activities that we can use to motivate our students, to get to know them, to make adaptations into our course, but most importantly, help our students believe in themselves. And that's it from my part. Thank you so much. Here we have the references. I know that you cannot see them because it's a video, but sorry. And that's it from my part. Thank you.